Hello everyone, this is Shadow. Due to copyright restrictions on YouTube, I can't publish many of the audiobooks you love. That's why I've created a special paid service where you can enjoy over 300 high-quality audiobooks from platforms like Webnovel, Pocket FM, Audible, Wuxia, and more. Each novel comes as a one-time purchase, no subscriptions, no hidden fees. After payment, you'll receive full access via Telegram, along with all future updates for that novel. You'll find a wide selection of your favorite genres and titles, always in premium audio quality. Check the full list of available novels in the description. DM me now to get your favorite stories in audiobook form and start listening today. Chapter 309-308. Room Full of Treasures. Kyra folds her arms. So we could open it? In theory, yes. Varen glances back at her, a faint smirk playing on his lips. But one mistake and the formation could seal permanently, or worse, reset the entire chamber. I'd rather not risk guessing which symbols to touch. All right, Bragg says, rubbing his jaw. So we've got fiery death on the left and puzzle that might kill us in the middle. Great start. Kyra nods toward the last door. Then check the right one. Varen spends several long minutes tracing the patterns along door, eyes half closed in concentration. Threads of gold mana flicker from his fingertips, crawling over the metallic surface like veins of light, then sputter and vanish, snuffed out as if swallowed. Kyra leans on her blade, voice tight with impatience. Any progress? He exhales slowly through his nose. Not yet. Varen's brow tightens as his mana flickers once more, this time thinner, dimmer. He kneels in front of the rightmost door, his hand hovering just inches from the wood-like surface. The door seems to pulse faintly, like something sleeping beneath it draws breath. Come on. Varen mutters under his breath, tracing a faint sigil in the air. Golden light forms, shimmering briefly before being swallowed whole. Again, Maeve shifts uneasily behind him. You've been at that for a while. You sure it's not just quiet? Varen snaps softly, his focus never breaking. The golden light flickers again, then dies completely. Not a spark remains. He tries a different method. A sensory pulse, a faint vibration through the air, a spark of mana thread, but every attempt ends the same way. The moment his energy brushes the surface of the rightmost door, it vanishes. Bragg leans on the wall, unimpressed. So, what's the deal with this one? Dead too. Varen exhales, sitting back on his heels. Sweat beads faintly on his temple, unusual for him. No, not dead. His voice drops lower. It's worse. It's blank. Kyra frowns. Blank. He nods slowly, eyes fixed on the door. Every door has some kind of signature. Even if it's sealed, I should at least feel resistance, structure, something. But this. He gestures at the wood-like surface. It's like trying to touch air. Nothing reacts. My mana goes in and just disappears. Torin crosses his arms. So either it's broken, or too strong. Varen finishes grimly. He stands and dusts off his hands. If it's the latter, it's on a level far above my reach. I can't open this. I can't even see how it's meant to be opened. A faint silence follows. The group exchanges glances. Alex, standing a few steps behind, watches the door quietly. His gaze lingers longer than the rest, studying the faint shimmer along the edges, the way the air around it hums in perfect stillness. His fingers brush the inside of his cloak, feeling the cold edge of a small, rune-carved token hidden in his pocket. The universal lockbreaker. One of the best items in Alex's possession, capable of bypassing any formation below divine rank. He tilts his head slightly, his voice even. Let me try. The others turn toward him. Kyra raises a brow. You? You are also a formation expert. Alex gives a calm half-shrug. I've had to deal with a few ancient locks before. Maybe I'll get lucky. Bragg smirks. If luck's all it takes, then sure. Be my guest. Varen steps aside, still skeptical. I won't stop you, but if it reacts, back away immediately. That thing eats mana. I don't want to find out what it does to people. Alex nods once and steps forward. The air seems to grow heavier the closer he gets. The faint breathing-like pulse of the door slows, almost sensing him. He lifts his hand, pretending to trace the door's surface thoughtfully. The weave's strange, he says, keeping his tone casual. No flow, no anchor points. His other hand subtly slips into his cloak pocket. The token's cool surface hums faintly against his skin, invisible to the others. He presses it lightly against his palm, channeling a thread of his mana into it. The rune awakens, a single spark of golden light flashing through the cracks of his fingers, then vanishing instantly. A quiet click echoes through the chamber. Varen's head snaps up. What was that? Alex hums, keeping his expression neutral. I think I found it. A deep, groaning sound fills the air as the wooden door stirs. Dust rains from the ceiling, and faint lines of ancient runes flare alive across its surface. Patterns even Varen hadn't seen before. The door's heartbeat-like pulse steadies, glowing faintly with crimson and gold veins. Kyra's eyes narrow. You actually opened it? Bragg's grin returns, wide and disbelieving. No way. Alex, do you want to join my group? Alex glances over his shoulder, his expression unreadable beneath the dim glow of his light orb. I prefer being alone, he says simply. Bragg blinks, then lets out a short laugh. Cold, but fair. The ancient runes blaze one last time before dimming to a dull glow. Then, with a slow, thunderous groan, the rightmost door splits open, releasing a wave of cool, dry air thick with dust and the faint metallic tang of age. They all raise their lights higher as the darkness beyond recedes, revealing a sight that freezes them in place. The chamber beyond stretches wide and high, its ceiling lost in shadow. Piles of treasure glimmer faintly under the pale glow of Alex's orb. Jagged clusters of mana stones jut out from the walls like frozen stars, each one pure, dense, and radiant with color. Tier 3, Tier 4, and even a few Tier 5 stones sparkle like captured lightning. Bragg's jaw drops. You have got to be kidding me. Kyra takes a slow step forward, her eyes reflecting the shimmering light. That's a fortune. No, Varen murmurs, awe creeping into his usually steady voice. That's a kingdom's ransom. He crouches beside one of the clusters, his hand trembling slightly as he hovers over a palm-sized mana crystal. These aren't refined. They're natural grade, untouched. I've never seen mana density like this before. Bragg's booming laugh fills the chamber, echoing off the stone walls. Ha ha ha, we actually found it. We actually found something real. Maeve darts between two stone piles, wide-eyed. Look at these. He pulls out a weapon, a long, curved blade etched with glowing silver veins. The air hums faintly around it. Tier 5 at least, still holding power after gods know how long. Kyra moves closer to the far end of the chamber, where a stand of weapons lies arranged like trophies. Her gaze sharpens as she points. Those three. Everyone turns to see them. 3 weapons, resting atop a black pedestal. Each one radiates with power so dense it distorts the air. A halberd with a serrated blade that hums with thunder. A long sword as white as bone, its edge razor-thin. And a heavy gauntlet that pulses with a dull red glow, veins of magmalite crawling under its surface. Varen stares, whispering under his breath. Tier 6, all 3 of them. Bragg's grin widens until it almost splits his face. 3 Tier 6 weapons. We're rich. We're done. We could retire for life. Maeve laughs nervously. If we live long enough to carry all this out. Bragg wipes his hands on his trousers, eyes alight. The reason this door's so bad is because whoever found it before couldn't open it. They probably smashed their way in. If a door's hard to open, you can bet there's something worth guarding inside. Kyra snorts, amusement and warning both in her tone. Wow, Bragg. Last time you used your brain it dented your skull. Miracles do happen. Bragg beams like he earned a compliment. Shut up and enjoy the miracle, Kyra. Since it's Alex who opened it, he gets to pick 2 weapons or items first. After that, we split everything evenly. He leans forward, suddenly brisk and businesslike. Fair and square. Alex's expectations, they will be greed. He isn't part of Bragg's crew, and treasure has a way of bringing out sharp edges. Still, the offer is generous and immediate. He lets a small, almost embarrassed smile slide across his face. He lets the others see the reaction he wants them to. 2 picks, Maeve says, already rubbing his hands together. I like the sound of that. For a moment the chamber is all gleam and breathing stone. Alex lets himself act excited. He reaches for the long sword first, thin, white as bone, its edge humming faintly. The metal feels cool and heavy. Chapter 3:10-309. The Old Monster's Will. He tests the weight of the blade, letting the faint resonance of the weapon hum against his skin. The air around it vibrates like a living thing. Pure Tier 6 craftsmanship, ancient and refined. Kyra whistles softly. Good choice. That thing looks like it could cut through steel like butter. Bragg nods approvingly, arms crossed. Can't argue with that one. What about your second pick? Alex's gaze sweeps across the pedestal. His eyes linger briefly on the halberd, but then slide toward the gauntlet, the one pulsing with dull red veins of magmalite. He reaches out, his expression a mix of calm and calculated curiosity. When his fingers brush its surface, a faint warmth spreads through his hand, like the weapon itself recognizes him. He lifts it, testing the balance. The air ripples faintly, and the glow under the gauntlet's surface flares once before dimming again. "This one," Alex says simply, turning it over. Bragg grins wide. "Ha! You've got taste, I'll give you that. All right, everyone else, we start sorting. No fighting over scraps. Plenty to go around." Kyra smirks. "Since when are you the noble type, Bragg?" "Since we just struck gold," he replies, laughing. "Even I can afford to be generous today." Varen kneels beside a pile of relics, eyes scanning every gleam and glimmer. Half of these are still in good condition. Formation-linked items, energy nodes, ancient alloys. Maeve is already elbow-deep in a pile of weapons, muttering under his breath as he lifts a strange spear that hums faintly with wind energy. Tier 5? Not bad, not bad at all. Kyra bends to pick up a crystalline dagger, sharp enough to reflect her grin. "This one's mine." Bragg waves her off. Fine, fine, take it. Just make sure it doesn't stab me in my sleep." Kyra smirks. "No promises." While the others argue lightly over their picks, Alex quietly examines his 2 chosen weapons. Inside, he's calm, utterly unshaken. Tier 6 weapons hold no real value to him anymore. He have thousands of them in his inventory. But acting thrilled keeps their trust. It doesn't take long for them to strip the chamber clean. Between Varen's precision and Bragg's enthusiasm, they move fast, stacking, sorting, and storing everything into their enchanted pouches. The sound of clinking metal and the faint hum of absorbed mana fills the vast space. Kyra wipes a line of dust off her cheek, exhaling. "That's the last of it." Bragg pats his pouch proudly, the grin never leaving his face. "Ha! Never thought I'd see the day I'd fill this thing to the brim." Maeve whistles, shaking his head. Tier 5 weapons, rare alloys, mana crystals. We're going home as legends. Varen, who's been cataloging quietly, finally speaks. "We've taken everything of value. All that's left are the gold coins and mana stones, at least 40,000 high-grade mana stones. It's absurd." Bragg lets out a long, satisfied breath. "Then that settles it. We split everything evenly. No complaints, no second thoughts." Everyone nods, still riding the high of discovery. The once dark chamber feels warmer now, the air thick with quiet triumph. Bragg claps his hands together, the sound echoing off the chamber walls. "All right, now for the last haul, the gold and the mana stones." He turns to face the others, grin wide. "We'll split both evenly, same as before. Fair's fair." But before anyone moves, Alex speaks. "No," he says calmly, his tone even but firm. "I'll take the gold coins. You all can split the mana stones." The room goes quiet for a moment. The torchlight flickers across their faces. Surprise, confusion, and then dawning excitement. Kyra blinks. "You're serious? You want the gold over mana stones?" She tilts her head, genuinely puzzled. "That's a first." Bragg scratches his beard, uncertain. "You sure about that, friend? Mana stones are worth 10 times more than gold coins, especially high-grade ones." Alex nods once. "I'm sure. I have no use for mana stones right now." Varen adjusts his glasses, studying Alex's expression for a moment. When he sees no hint of jest or hidden motive, he chuckles softly. "Well, I won't argue with that. Easier for us." Maeve grins wide, almost giddy. "You're the first man I've met who prefers shiny coins over power stones. But hey, I'll take it." Kyra smirks and folds her arms. "Guess we won't complain. You can have all that gold. We'll take the glowing rocks." Bragg laughs, slapping Alex on the shoulder. "Ha! You're either crazy or the most generous man in this world. Fine by me. We'll split the mana stones 4 ways." Alex gets his mountain of gold. They move quickly, dividing the glowing clusters among themselves. Varen's meticulous hands count and sort. Maeve's laughter echoes as he scoops armfuls of crystals into his pouch. Kyra weighs each one with a thief's practiced eye. Bragg oversees, satisfied, his grin never leaving. Meanwhile, Alex stands beside the heap of gold coins. The piles gleam faintly in the light, dull yet beautiful, over 20 million pieces at least. To the others, it's less than the value of a single tier 5 stone. To Alex, it's more important than any mana stones. As the last pouch snaps shut, Bragg claps his hands again. "All right, that's everything. No one got cheated, no one died. I call that a win." Kyra smirks. "And a miracle." Maeve laughs. "With this haul, I'm retiring for a month straight." Varen just nods, quietly pleased. "A month? Try a year." Alex says nothing, just gives a faint, approving smile as he waves his hand subtly. In a blink, every chest of gold vanishes into his inventory. The others barely notice, their attention still fixed on their glowing mana stones. While everyone is still laughing and packing away their spoils, the air in the chamber suddenly shifts. The warmth of triumph drains away, replaced by a slow, creeping chill. A faint hum echoes from the center of the room, low, resonant, and growing deeper by the second. Dust begins to swirl, drawn into a twisting column of gray light that forms above the cracked stone floor. Bragg stops mid-laugh. What the hell is that? Kyra immediately grips her dagger, eyes narrowing. Don't tell me the place is collapsing. No, Varen says sharply, stepping forward, gaze fixed on the forming shape. Don't move. Don't do anything. That's not a creature, it's a will. A remnant left behind by the owner of this place. The others tense, but hold their ground as the silhouette solidifies. From the swirl of dust and light emerges the translucent image of an old monster, part humanoid, part beast. Its body is hunched with age, its long horns cracked, and its gnarled hand clutches a crooked staff made of dark stone. Even as a phantom, its presence radiates a suffocating power. Bragg's grin fades, replaced by unease. He shifts his stance, hand twitching near his weapon. Damn, you call that just a will? I feel like my spine's about to snap from the pressure. Kyra grits her teeth, sweat beading on her brow. Gods, this thing's thousands of years old, and it still feels alive. The old monster's eyes, two dim embers of blue fire, sweep slowly across the chamber, as though looking through time itself. Its voice rumbles like stone grinding against stone. Someone, finally open this place. The echo of its words vibrates through their bones. It tilts its head slightly, gaze falling on Alex, though it doesn't seem to see him directly. I do not know if you are alone, or if you came as a group, but it matters little. Its tone grows clearer, carrying an odd mixture of pride and melancholy. To reach this place means you possess skill, patience, strength. Those who have entered before you failed to open this path. You have not. Bragg swallows, muttering under his breath. Thanks, but can we skip the ghost speech part? Kyra elbows him hard. Shut up, Bragg. The old monster raises his staff slightly, and the faint pulse of energy ripples through the chamber, making the room trembles. The treasures you have taken are but half of what I possessed. Maeve blinks, clutching his newly filled pouch tighter. Half? You're telling me this is just the warm-up? The old monster continues. The rest lies sealed, beyond 3 trials. Complete them, and you will earn my full inheritance, and what remains of my true treasure. The old form flickering slightly as its energy wanes. The trials will be wisdom, resolve, and strength. Fail any one of them, and you shall remain here forever, as dust among the forgotten. The old figure lowers its staff, the glow around it dimming. Prepare yourselves. The path ahead will open when your hearts are steady. The unworthy will not survive. The phantom's light begins to unravel, scattering like ash in the wind. Chapter 3:11-3:10 Oasis of Reflection. Chapter 3:11. Chapter 3:10 Oasis of Reflection. After he disappears, everyone feels the world twist and warp around them. Light bending, air collapsing inward like a vacuum swallowing sound. For a heartbeat, there's nothing but white, weightless and still. Then, Alex feels gravity slam back into him. He lands lightly on his feet, boots sinking an inch into scorching sand. A wave of dry heat slams into him, and the air itself ripples beneath a relentless sun. Even with his resistance, the temperature presses against his skin like a furnace. He shields his eyes and takes in the sight. The horizon stretches endlessly in every direction. A barren desert of gold and ash. No mountains, no ruins, no sound. Just wind and heat. The only sign of life is the faint shimmer of air distortion far, far away, like a mirage that refuses to stay still. Alex exhales slowly, his voice calm despite the desolation. So, we got teleported separately. He scans the area again, sensing for mana signatures. Nothing, no trace of Kyra, Bragg, Maeve or Varen. No ambient energy, no beasts nearby. Just silence, brushing a line of sweat from his brow. He murmurs, not exactly creative. Suddenly, a faint transparent screen flickers into view before him. Trial 1. Wisdom. Objective. Seek the oasis of reflection. Only there shall truth be revealed. Alex blinks at the glowing text before him, momentarily still. The faint hum of the screen vibrates in the air, a soft resonance that feels oddly familiar. Oh, he mutters, a hint of surprise slipping through his calm tone. The system's active. He stares at it for a few seconds, eyes narrowing slightly. The floating interface flickers faintly under the harsh sunlight, translucent and steady. Since coming to this new world, the system had been mostly dormant, silent, passive, like a sleeping dragon that no longer bothered to stir. It had offered no guidance, no reactions. But now, it responds. A small, thoughtful smile crosses his face. So this trial might actually be worth something after all. The desert wind answers him with a dry hiss, grains of sand brushing against his cloak like fine needles. Alex sighs and starts walking toward the distant shimmer on the horizon. The heat presses down, relentless. The sun above burns white gold, its glare so intense it bleaches the dunes to blinding brightness. The air wavers like liquid flame, and every breath feels thick and dry. He mutters under his breath, voice almost amused. Guess even power doesn't make you immune to discomfort. He stops, glancing around. The dunes look the same. Endless, rolling, shifting with each gust. The shimmer on the horizon flickers again, as though teasing him. Alex frowns. Right? So this isn't just a walk to an oasis. He kneels briefly and presses his palm to the ground. The sand beneath his hand hums faintly with mana. Thin, faint threads running in concentric circles beneath the surface. A formation, subtle but ancient. Alex traces the lines of mana under the sand with his eyes, his expression calm but focused. The faint pulse moves like veins, connecting distant points across the desert. So this whole place is one giant formation, he murmurs. He stands, brushing sand from his glove. I can just destroy the entire thing, he says quietly, eyes narrowing. But who knows what'll happen if I do that? The wind howls softly in answer, like an unseen warning. He exhales, then smirks faintly. All right then, let's solve this as intended. Straightening, he adjusts his cloak and starts walking again, each step sinking slightly into the shimmering dunes. The air vibrates subtly around him, the formation responding to his movement like a living thing. Testing, watching. Let's see what happens if I just keep going, he mutters half to himself. As he walks, the horizon seems to twist. What looked like empty desert now shifts, subtle, almost imperceptible changes. Dunes curve differently, shadows stretch too long, and every few minutes he feels as though he's walking in circles. Alex stops, glancing over his shoulder. His footprints are gone, erased by the wind the moment he takes another step forward. An illusion layer. Smart. The heat grows heavier, pressing against his skin like molten weight. His mana vision activates with a faint golden shimmer in his eyes, revealing lines of power weaving through the air like threads of light. They form patterns that shift each time he looks too closely. He smirks again. So it reacts to attention, trying to mislead me. The next gust of wind carries another whisper. Faint, almost tender. Turn back. Alex pauses, listening. The voice is neither male nor female, more like the desert itself speaking through the air. He chuckles softly. If I turned back every time someone told me to, I wouldn't have made it this far. As he continues, the mirage ahead ripples violently, shifting into shapes. Mountains, ruins, even the faint illusion of people walking ahead of him. Kyra's figure appears for a heartbeat, turning to glance at him before fading like smoke. His smile fades slightly, so it's trying to test focus. He keeps walking, ignoring the visions, his step steady, his aura calm. The formation pulses beneath his feet, its rhythm quickening. Then click. A faint tone resonates through the desert, and the air in front of him shatters like glass, revealing a faint pathway of solid light leading deeper into the dunes. Alex tilts his head slightly, intrigued. There we go. Progress. He steps onto the glowing path, the formations hum deepening beneath him. Each step forward feels heavier, the air thickening with ancient intent. The horizon ahead no longer wavers. It bends upward, revealing a faint glimmer of blue far in the distance. The oasis of reflection, he murmurs, eyes narrowing in thought. Let's see what kind of wisdom you think I'm missing. Alex follows the glowing path, the desert heat warping around him like molten glass. The air hums with quiet tension, each step echoing faintly through the sand as if the land itself listens. The blue glimmer ahead slowly grows larger, the dunes flattening into smoother ground. The oppressive heat begins to fade, replaced by a cool, steady breeze that smells faintly of water and stone. Finally, the endless desert parts to reveal it. A vast oasis ringed by pale stone pillars, their surfaces carved with ancient runes that shimmer faintly in the sunlight. At the center lies a still, mirror-like pool of clear water, untouched by wind. The reflection is so perfect that the sky above and the sand around seem to blend into it seamlessly. But what catches Alex's attention is the structure standing in the middle of that pool. A lone pavilion made of white stone, small yet intricate, supported by 4 curved pillars that rise from the water itself. It looks timeless, serene, and heavy with power. Alex stops at the edge of the oasis, eyes narrowing slightly. Finally, He watches the calm water for a few seconds before speaking again, his voice low and thoughtful. So this is the heart of the formation. The reflection in the pool shimmers faintly, and for a heartbeat, his own reflection moves a split second out of sync. He raises a brow. A test of wisdom or perception? The system screen flickers again before him. You have reached the oasis of reflection. Proceed forward to continue the trial. Alex exhales slowly, stepping closer to the water's edge. I just hope that after all this trouble, the rewards are actually worth it. He steps onto the surface and the water holds. Ripples spread out beneath his boots, glowing faintly like liquid light. The entire oasis hums in response, gentle but vast, as though recognizing his presence. He walks across the water, his reflection following perfectly until halfway. Then it lags again, almost imperceptibly. Alex notices immediately. You're not me, he says softly, his tone neither accusing nor surprised. You're the test. The reflection smiles faintly, an expression Alex himself doesn't make. Its voice echoes softly through the oasis, calm and knowing. Then show me what you've learned. The still water ripples violently as the reflection rises, solidifying into a perfect copy of Alex. Same face, same stance, same cold composure, but its eyes glow faintly with silver light. Alex straightens, his own aura quietly flaring to meet it. A reflection that thinks it's real. The other Alex smirks faintly. Maybe I am. Maybe you're the imitation. Alex chuckles under his breath. If that's how this trial's going to be, then let's see which one of us walks out of here. The reflection's smirk softens into something almost serene. The silver glow in its eyes fades, and it lowers its stance, not in surrender, but in quiet invitation. Ha ha! It laughs softly, its tone calm and eerily familiar, like Alex hearing his own voice echo from a dream. If you wish to finish this trial, then come and find me, inside. Chapter 312, 311. A demigod? Chapter 312. Chapter 311. A demigod? The reflection nods once. The oasis of reflection isn't a battlefield. It's a mirror. You'll find your answers there, not here. Then, without another word, it steps backward into the pavilion. Its form passes through the white stone pillars like mist dissolving into sunlight. The structure glows faintly, runes awakening along its surface, and the water beneath it ripples outward in perfect circles. Alex watches the glow fade, his expression unreadable. Inside the reflection, huh? He glances down at the water beneath him. The reflection of the pavilion remains, faintly distorted, but this time, he can see the faint outline of a door beneath the mirrored surface, glowing like a heartbeat under glass. Alex steps forward once, then again, until he stands directly over it. The air hums faintly around him, charged with restrained power. His voice is low, almost amused as he murmurs, "Then entertain me." Then he steps down into his own reflection. The world shatters like rippling glass, and Alex disappears beneath the surface. The world reforms in a slow, deliberate motion, like paint swirling on water. When Alex opens his eyes, he's standing inside the pavilion. The air feels wrong, too smooth, too quiet. The walls, the pillars, even the faint scent of stone. All of it feels manufactured, as if reality itself were pretending to exist. The colors are muted, yet unnaturally crisp. The space glows with light but casts no shadows. He looks around slowly, his expression unreadable. So this is inside. A ripple distorts the air ahead, and from it, his reflection steps forward, calm, composed, smiling faintly. "Welcome to my home." Alex tilts his head slightly, amused. "Your home." His voice carries a soft scoff. "Feels more like a cage dressed as a temple." The reflection only chuckles. "Perhaps. But you stepped inside willingly, didn't you?" Alex smirks. "So what now? You gonna tell me how to move forward? What's the rush?" The reflection asks lightly, spreading its hands. "You probably already know how to get out of the first trial." Alex doesn't answer, just watches in silence, lips curving faintly as if entertained. The floor ripples beneath their feet, and from the white marble surface, a table and 2 chairs emerge, smooth and carved from the same seamless material as the pavilion. The reflection gestures to one of them with a polite smile. "Sit. It's been a while since I've had company." Alex eyes the setup for a moment before shrugging and taking the seat. "Fine. Let's play along." The reflection sits across from him, mirroring his posture perfectly. Hands folded, back straight, eyes calm. A faint hum lingers in the air, like distant chimes vibrating at the edge of hearing. After a moment, the reflection speaks again. "Do you want to know how your companions are faring?" Alex's expression doesn't change. They can manage themselves. The reflection raises a brow, a knowing smirk tugging at its lips. Is that so? They're not my companions. Alex continues, tone even. I just hired them. Silence lingers between them, heavy but not hostile. The air around the table feels thick, like the space itself is listening. Then the reflection smiles again, this time without mockery. They are quite capable, though, especially the mage. Varen, wasn't it? Very knowledgeable in formation. The reflection resting its chin on its knuckles as it studies Alex. You know, it says, tone almost thoughtful. You're the first person I can't see through at all. Alex lifts a brow. Can't see through? Yes, the reflection replies. Usually, when someone steps inside here, I can read them. Memories, fears, the little cracks they hide even from themselves. But you, his gaze narrows faintly, glimmering silver. You're like a wall of mist. I can't even glimpse what's beneath. Alex smirks, leaning slightly back in his chair. Maybe you're just not as good as you think. The reflection laughs quietly, shaking its head. Oh, I am good. I could even see something in my master. Someone far stronger than you. That makes Alex pause. He tilts his head slightly, eyes sharpening. Your master? Is it the one we saw earlier? Yes. The reflection answers with calm certainty. The being that shaped this place. The one whose will still lingers in the formation. Alex hums thoughtfully. And how strong is your master, then? The reflection's tone softens, almost reverent. He is a demigod. Alex blinks once, then frowns faintly. What? The reflection looks genuinely surprised. A demigod. A being who has surpassed the mortal boundary of Tier 7 and stands upon Tier 8. Don't tell me. It leans forward slightly, eyes narrowing with faint disbelief. The 3 main continents have fallen so far that they no longer know what a demigod is? Alex just looks at him for a moment, then chuckles under his breath. No, I just wouldn't know. He pauses, his smile returning, sharp and calm. Since I'm not from any of the 3 main continents. The reflection's eyes widen slightly, the silver glow within them flickering like a disrupted flame. Not from any of them? Alex meets his gaze evenly. That's what I said. For the first time, the reflection looks genuinely intrigued. Interesting. How could a lesser continent produce someone like you? Alex just shrugs, his tone light. Guess you'll have to figure that out yourself. The reflection lets out a quiet laugh, shaking its head. Heh, I suppose so. It leans back slightly, watching him for a moment longer, as if memorizing every detail. Then, with a soft exhale, it says, I guess it's time for you to move forward. Alex stands, his expression calm. It's been nice meeting you, Alex. The reflection continues, its tone warmer now, almost human. Talking to you feels like talking to my master again. Alex smiles faintly at that. Then I'll take that as a compliment. It is, the reflection says, smiling back. Alex turns toward the exit, the rippling edge of light that marks the end of the pavilion. But just before he steps through, the reflection calls out, voice echoing softly across the still air. By the way, it says, the second trial. My master built that one himself. I can't interfere with it, not even a little. As much as I'd like to see what happens, I can't. Alex glances over his shoulder, eyes faintly glinting. Then I guess you'll just have to wait. The reflection chuckles. I will. So, see you in the third trial. Alex nods once, steps forward, and disappears through the veil of light, leaving the reflection alone, its faint smile lingering as its form slowly dissolves back into the stillness of the pavilion. Light bends and folds around Alex as he steps through the veil. The sensation is strange, weightless, like falling through still water. Then suddenly his boots touch solid ground again. The air here is warm, filled with the faint scent of incense and polished wood. The room he stands in is lavish, marble floors veined with gold, silk drapes hanging from crystal fixtures, and a long couch that looks far too soft for a trial chamber. And sitting on that couch is Varen. Varen looks up from the cup in his hand, surprise flashing briefly in his eyes before a small smile forms. Congratulations, he says, setting the cup aside. Didn't think you'd be the second one to finish. The same for you, Alex says, a faint smile touching his lips. Looks like you were the first to finish the trial. Varen chuckles softly, brushing some dust off his sleeve. Guess all those years of studying formations finally paid off. He leans back, relaxed but proud. Still, can't say it was easy. For a while, silence settles between them, calm, almost comfortable. The sound of the faint breeze from the open window fills the air, carrying the scent of old parchment and mana residue. Then, a faint pulse echoes from the center of the room. A soft shimmer of light, and another figure steps through. Kyra stumbles forward first, catching herself before she falls. Ugh! What kind of twisted mind designs a place like that? She groans, brushing her hair aside. When she looks up and spots Alex and Varen already there, her eyes widen slightly. Wait, both of you finished already? Varen gives her a small nod. You're third. Kyra groans dramatically, dropping onto one of the couches. Great. I was sure I'd be second. Before anyone can answer, another light flickers. Two this time. Maeve and Torin step out together, both looking winded but intact. Maeve stretches his shoulders with a grunt. Finally out. I thought I'd be trapped in that damn place forever. Chapter 3:13-3:12. I'm back? Torin exhales slowly, rubbing his temples. My reflection wouldn't shut up. It kept talking about things I didn't even remember. Kyra laughs, half sympathetic. Let me guess. It insulted your hairstyle? Maeve glares at her, but Varen cuts in smoothly. That makes 5 of us. He glances at the empty space where the last light should appear. So Bragg's still inside. Kyra smirks instantly. Of course he is. And right on cue, a heavy pulse fills the air again. Louder this time, almost dramatic. The light swirls for a few seconds before Bragg stumbles out, looking utterly exhausted. His armor's scuffed, his hair's a mess, and his face screams frustration. Finally, Bragg groans, straightening up. That mirror bastard wouldn't stop talking in riddles. Kyra bursts out laughing. Ha ha ha. Look at that, our mighty leader. Last one out of the trial. Bragg groans, rubbing the back of his neck. Well, my brain's not built for riddles. He glances around the room, then sighs. So what's our next trial? Don't tell me it's another one of those mind games. I swear, if it's something to do with the brain again, I will die. Kyra smirks from her spot on the couch. What brain? Bragg shoots her a glare. Haha, you're hilarious. Varen chuckles softly, setting his cup down. It's probably something different this time. The first trial was reflection, testing insight or awareness. If the old monster's words are true, then the next one should deal with either resolve or strength. Resolve or strength, huh? Maeve mutters, rolling his shoulders. Guess that means it's finally my kind of test. Torin grins faintly. As long as it's not about talking to myself again, I'll take it. Kyra leans back, stretching lazily. I don't know. I think Bragg could use another round with his reflection. Might teach him humility. Keep talking, Bragg warns, though there's a faint grin tugging at his lips. When we get to a strength trial, I'm making sure you're the one standing in front. Alex, who's been silent through their banter, finally speaks. His tone is calm, almost detached. Whatever it is, we'll find out soon enough. Before anyone can reply, the air around them shifts again. A deep hum fills the chamber. Steady, resonant, and unmistakably powerful. The golden veins in the marble floor begin to glow, forming intricate runes that spiral outward beneath their feet. Kyra's smile fades. Oh, come on. Already? Varen's eyes narrow as he senses the change. It's starting. Light rises from the runes, enveloping each of them in a soft, blinding aura. The temperature drops sharply, like standing on the edge of a storm. Bragg curses under his breath. Here we go again. And before he can finish, the light flashes, swallowing them whole. The second trial has begun. Alex blinks. The world around him reforms. Not with marble, runes, or the familiar hum of magic, but with the faint scent of soap, warm bread, and wooden polish. He's standing in a small hallway. The walls are pale blue, chipped in some places. Old wooden doors line the corridor, each with a brass number plate. From somewhere nearby, children's laughter echoes faintly. High, light, and achingly familiar. Alex frowns. His boots, no shoes, feel wrong. He looks down and sees sneakers, faded and worn, the kind he hasn't seen in decades. What they? He murmurs under his breath, his voice sounding younger, thinner. He turns, and sunlight streams through a dusty window at the end of the hall. The world outside is gray and familiar. Cars, a playground, and the faint buzz of a city he hasn't seen in what feels like lifetimes. Earth. Alex's breath catches. Why am I back here? He takes a hesitant step forward. The floorboards creak softly beneath him, and the sound sends a strange pang through his chest. A sound he knows too well. Then a gentle voice calls from down the hall. Alex, it's time to eat deer. He freezes. That voice. It's soft, patient, with that faint tremor of someone used to caring for too many children at once. He remembers it. Sister Marianne. A door opens and there she is. A woman in her late 40s, wearing a simple gray habit and a warm, tired smile. Her eyes light up when she sees him. There you are, she says kindly, wiping her hands on her apron. Come now, before the soup gets cold. Alex doesn't move. His mind races, fragments of memory clawing to the surface. The wooden hallway, the scent of vegetable stew, the sound of children running, laughing, his old world before everything. Before the system, before magic, before war, before he became the king of the monsters. Sister, Marianne? He asks softly, his tone uncertain. The nun blinks, confused. Of course, dear. Who else would it be? She laughs lightly, the sound warm and real. You've been spacing out a lot lately. Are you feeling all right? He looks around again, every detail so vivid it almost hurts. The peeling paint, the small frame drawings on the wall, the faint hum of the refrigerator from the kitchen. This isn't an illusion. Feels real. Alex's fingers tremble as he touches the wall. It's rough, solid, cold. He whispers, I'm home. Sister Marian frowns slightly at his odd tone, then softens. You've always been home here, Alex. She tilts her head, smiling kindly. Now come on. The others are waiting. Her words strike something deep inside him. A memory buried so long he had forgotten it existed. He follows her, almost mechanically, down the narrow hall and into the dining room. The long wooden table is surrounded by children. 10, maybe 12 of them, all laughing, arguing, reaching for bread. A few glance up when he enters. Hey, Alex, you finally woke up. One of them says, grinning. Yeah, we thought Sister Marianne was going to eat your soup. Another teases. Their voices blur together. Warm, chaotic, alive. He stands there, motionless, watching them. A younger version of himself sits among them in memory. Thin, quiet, eyes always drifting toward the window as if looking for a world beyond this one. And it hits him all at once. The nights he stared up at the ceiling, wishing he was somewhere else. The silent prayers he made asking for purpose, for a way to matter. The pain of being forgotten. Although he doesn't really know why he chose to forget these memories. Something deep inside him whispers that he did it for a reason. Maybe it was easier that way, cutting ties with a life that offered nothing but loneliness and waiting. But now, standing here among the laughter and warmth, Alex realizes he can't remember much about what actually happened when he was still in the orphanage. The faces blur, the voices echo faintly, as if viewed through fog. He eats quietly, spooning the warm soup without tasting it. Sister Marian hums softly while refilling bowls. The children chatter about nonsense, schoolwork, games, imaginary adventures. It's all so mundane, so painfully human, yet so peaceful. When everyone finishes eating, the chairs scrape against the wooden floor as the kids rush to clean up. Alex stays seated for a moment longer, lost in the strangeness of it all. This world he once called home, the one he abandoned without a second thought. Then suddenly, Big Brother. Hello everyone, this is Shadow. Due to copyright restrictions on YouTube, I can't publish many of the audiobooks you love. That's why I've created a special paid service where you can enjoy over 300 high-quality audiobooks from platforms like Webnovel, Pocket FM, Audible, Wuxia, and more. Each novel comes as a one-time purchase, no subscriptions, no hidden fees. After payment, you'll receive full access via Telegram, along with all future updates for that novel. You'll find a wide selection of your favorite genres and titles, always in premium audio quality. Check the full list of available novels in the description. DM me now to get your favorite stories in audiobook form and start listening today.